It's not a game. I'm not a robot, and I challenge you. I'm not a phantom. I'm in a patient. I'm here to see it through. Right before your eyes, watch us multiply. Got to memorize. It's time. As the flower grows, joy the stopper shows. Like a silver shine, the
If the rest of my videos didn't clue you in, I'm a pretty big SpongeBob fan, so to give me a reason to go through the entire series for the 10,000th time, I'm gonna discuss one element I like from each episode. I'm only doing season 1 instead of all of them so I can milk this idea later for the other seasons and then slam them all into one mega upload. Help wanted. We're at the first episode and I'm already having trouble picking. What can I really choose here? We have so many production details and tidbits about this episode. I think the common pick will be the plot. It's the first and still holds up today. It holds the core of our Sponge, his optimism versus the uncaring world, and he is rewarded for it. You could also choose Patrick for being a chill guy, but I'm gonna be predictable and say the art style. It spans all of season 1, but here it really shines. The colors are more washed yet vibrant, if that makes any sense. The water-y tint gives the episode a character. The thinner outlines combined with the fresh animation and young voice acting are just mwah, perfect. Reef Blower, the first short or non-11-minute episode. If Help Wanted got the core of SpongeBob as a character down, then Reef Blower cemented the fun nature of the series, even with no dialogue thanks to technicalities regarding payments, not equipment failure as you may have heard before. We still get a fun back and forth with our only two characters. So I'll say the lack of dialogue. I could just say Sponge and Squid interacting, but that's kind of difficult to really organize, I guess, if that makes any sense. What do you care? It's my list, my video. I can put in whatever I want. Like this. Tea at the Treedome. Not even gonna try to bait you, it's obviously introducing Sandy Cheeks, or as later in SpongeBob's Last Stand, Sandy Squirrel. That's not related at all, but I still think about that from time to time. Anyways, Tea at the Treedome is a fun time. The idea of a land squirrel dropped into these depths is so cool. There are some great details about Miss Cheeks in the Pitch Bible. Her history is really interesting, from having some reference to being a slight romantic interest, but eventually got shot down, which to me was the right call. Good episode. Bubblestand. Oh man, I got some choices here. Technique! 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 Squidward trying his hardest to blow a bubble, bringing it around town. Squid's got jeans, and more. But I'll go with the classic.
It's a giraffe!
Rip pants. So as I write this script, I'm gonna make a prediction. If an episode has a noteworthy song, I'll choose that. Let's see how that goes. Anyways, obviously, I gotta go with the titular song by Peter Strauss and Paul Tibbet. It happens to sound pretty close to a Beach Boys song, that being Be True to Your School, and I would play a clip here, but I'd rather not be skinned alive by the copyright inquisitors, so listen on your own time if you want. A second contender for me is the pretending to drown joke. I really liked it. Though I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode as a kid, the secondhand embarrassment I had for SpongeBob was unreal. Jellyfishing. The entire concept of jellyfishing. What other show or cartoon has something to this scale? It makes the world so interesting to think about. It makes me wonder what other sports exist underwater. We have snail racing, so anything is possible, honestly. Though I do really like the intro segment. The intense vibe contrasts so well with these two idiots catching jellyfish. Plankton! Exclamation point. So I'm 3 for 3 on being predictable. I have to choose Plankton, a great rival to Krabs, and I like how his antics fight with SpongeBob's childlike innocence. Mr. Lawrence performs the role perfectly. I couldn't imagine anybody else voicing this tiny college-educated copepod. Fun fact, he was way different in the Pitch Bible. Originally, he had a more human-esque face, and his size would be constant, to where anytime he did anything, a magnifying glass would have to be used. How funny. Naughty nautical neighbors. The amount of funny screenshots. Sponge and Pat's initial conversation has plenty, especially with this one of Pat's eyes, or later this one, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. I can do this for a really long time, guys. Boating school. Again, predictable here, but Mrs. Puff. Her apathetic and solemn personality fights SpongeBob perfectly. 90% of the time, a boating school episode is a great one. Just ignore that other 10%. Her antics of constantly freaking out are hilarious. Pizza delivery. Oh, Neptune. How am I supposed to pick one thing? Like, every single element is fantastic. The journey, the non-stop comedy, the dramatic irony, the pioneers, the boulder, tire pressure, backing up, the Krusty Krab pizza song, and the final punchline. All really extremely good. But despite that, there is one moment that easily stands higher.
Look, I told your little friend I ain't paying for that.
Well, this one's on the...
Did he change his mind?
He sure did. Ate the whole thing in one bite.
Quite literally, the perfect scene. Barely anything manages to match the emotional value of this scene, let alone top it. Having to go through SpongeBob's antics as much as Squidward, we as the audience feel the drive and despair of poor SpongeBob, which manages to catapult itself into righteous joy upon seeing Squidward serve up some well-deserved payback. Home sweet pineapple. I'd have to say the brief construction montage. I don't have any cool facts. I just like it. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Man, I keep forgetting how much work Season 1 put into establishing the world. Obviously, I'm going with the deep diving duo, though I adore the twist of them being old and retired. Similar to other characters, their lack of energy fights with Sponge and Pat's youthful joy in really funny ways. Rest in peace to both these acting legends. Reflecto was kinda hot though, second pick. Pickles. The SpongeBob community loves the series, though we do like to fight on what the best or worst things are, namely episodes. And you know what? I am tired of hiding in the shadows, faceless in the crowd. Pickles is an S-tier episode, and I am tired of the non-stop slander you find it in episode tier lists. This is a fantastic episode. My pick goes to the drama. The stakes are immensely overproportioned, much like Bubble Bass. You truly feel the spaghetti western adventure throughout the episode. From being defeated, the loss of confidence, the training SpongeBob takes, to the climax where he returns to rightfully claim his title and throne. Finally, defeating the wicked beast and uncovering his deception, SpongeBob's victory is cathartic. The music, the visuals, the cinematography, characterization, and just general fun all contribute to that juicy, delectable, delicious drama. Great episode. And it has Incidental 70. Hall Monitor. Patrick, just Patrick, every line out of his mouth is comedic gold. His siren, the ice cream, his maniac shriek, his jumpy animation, everything. No contest on this one. Jellyfish Jam. I am going to spark some massive fires with this one. I can only pick one song, and I'm sorry, but I have to go with the actual Jellyfish Jam, not Stadium Rave. Stadium Rave is great, but Jellyfish Jam has a nice progression and a satisfying conclusion to the episode. I know Stadium Rave is loved, but I just like the other song better. Sandy's Rocket, the visuals, the animation is great, and I love how everything just kinda clicks together. Zero gravity, the entire world being treated as alien in the second half of the episode, the gadgets, and, of course, SpongeBob's Whirlybird mishap. Squeaky Boots. Now, I know I just said visuals, but you've got to understand. I mean, just look at this. This was in a kid's cartoon. This is great. Crab's complete breakdown is so fun to watch, and honestly, I never had a problem with the constant squeaks. I just didn't find that bad, which I think is the biggest criticism of the episode. Oh, and I can't forget the many Crab's faces. Just a really good episode that does a lot. Nature Pants. The character interactions. It's fun seeing everyone react to SpongeBob's feral antics, especially Pat and Squid. It's a fun episode. Yeah, it's a pop.
He's Squidward. He's Squidward. You're Squidward. I'm Squidward. Are there any other Squidwards I should know about?
Meow.
I'm out of here.
I don't have anything to add. Amazing joke. Culture shock. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. I really love this episode. I think it does a lot right. I love the free salad bar, the guy who just wants change, and of course, Squid's pompous attitude. And that's not even mentioning the acts themselves. Gary's poetry speaks to my heart. But saving the best for last, I'm going with Squid's routine and subsequent failure. It's so gratifying to see him brought down after all his prideful arrogance. Fun. The song. That prediction from earlier is coming true. I really love SpongeBob and Plankton's dynamic here, and especially when they build on it in the second movie. It has a lot of comedic potential and nice interactions. It's fun to see Plankton out of his element. The episode just feels really nice and warm, which the song captures perfectly. There's a reason why this is a fun favorite, or fan favorite, MuscleBob BuffPants. Sandy's workout routine. Now, I'm built like a truck and 6'7", so all that stuff wouldn't faze me at all. Honestly, totally. Squidward the unfriendly... No, that's stupid. Squidward the unfriendly ghost. The painting joke partway through. I never understood this as a kid and respect the writers for including it, because being honest, now, many years later, I still don't get it at all. It's based off a painting called Can Can, named after the dance, which is by Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. Fancy, I know. Le Chaperone. I'm actually not going to pick the song. I'm instead going with long, tan, and handsome himself, Octavius Rex. Man, he is so fine. This wasn't an easy pick. I think the random SpongeBob dummy could also work. I love how it is just never explained. Octavius Rex also does show up later in the series, which is nice. You can't go wrong with anchovies. I will die on this hill as long as it takes. Employee of the Month. The entire finale, Sponge and Squidward fighting to wit's end just to earn a title and a ploy for productivity by crabs. It's so over the top and fits so well in the show. It's also nice to see SpongeBob act defensively towards Squidward. Most of the time, he doesn't seem to fully get Squid's hostility, but here, Sponge is full on an enemy of that octopus. Also, by the end, their designs are awesome. Scaredy Pants. Introducing the idea of holiday episodes. Pretty much every holiday special is at bare minimum decent. Scaredy Pants is really good. The atmosphere is peak. I love how decorated the town becomes. The Halloween incidental fish, the sound design, and the color palette are all so good. We even get the main introduction of the Flying Dutchman. It just seems the crew had a ton of fun making this episode. There's even an alternate version of the theme song with a spookier vibe to it. Fantastic intro for every following holiday special. I was a teenage Gary. Squidward's karma and comeuppance at the end. As a kid, I was never freaked out by the one and only snail transformation scene, but instead got unnerved at poor Gary. I know he's a cartoon snail voiced by Tom Kenny, but man, those weak meows made me really sad as a kid, and I really wanted Squidward to get beat up for it.
Oh, they're gone!
Thankfully, he gets transformed into a snail by the end, and a boot to the face. Serves you right, jerk. One thing the first few seasons got right pretty much every time was Squidward's jerkness. Hillenburg, in behind-the-scenes content, directly calls him a curmudgeon, which, hold on, gonna look that up. Bad temper, old person, interesting. Paints him well. Squidward only receives punishment when he does something wrong. Depending on how well this video does, please YouTube, you will very much notice this will be pretty unbalanced later on. Just something to keep note of for the future. SB129. The atmosphere. It's abstract, unnerving, and isolating, and I love it. Even before all the time travel shenanigans, the episode just has this alone feeling. We don't really see anyone else the entire episode besides a single chrome worker. The only other people we see are these echoing voices that give a haunting feeling of dread. Everyone did a fantastic job on the episode, but special props goes to Aaron Springer, Eric Wise, and Mr. Lawrence for the writing here. The vibe of this episode just feels wrong, and I mean that in a good way. It gets under your skin, and yeah, it's not actually terrifying like a horror movie, but I think it uses the fact it's a kid's show to slip under your guard the first time. Great episode, and at the time of writing, I'm interested to see how they handle the sequel to this episode. It has a ton of potential. I really hope it's good. It would be a massive boon for modern SpongeBob's reputation, in my opinion. Karate choppers. Difficult pick, but I'd have to say SpongeBob's crying outburst towards the end. It's really funny, especially the tear drinking, but it's also gone on to be shown everywhere. Like, did you know it shows up at the end of a Gorillaz music video? Learn something new every day, I guess. Sleepy time. As a certified nap enjoyer, hence the upload schedule, my choice is easily Patrick's Dream. Words cannot describe how I love it. Him on that seahorse with a fun little music track, an empty void behind the pink star, just works. I wish I could reach that tranquility, that peace of mind. Beautiful, absolute cinema. Do you guys watch Jay Schlatt? He made a video about tier list of chips and had this specific part.
Sun chips, baby.
I want that vibe for talking about Suds. I love Suds. I think it is peak season 1. I have to give it to the ending. Using live footage of a kitchen sponge is really entertaining. And of course, Dr. Patrick gets to test out a new procedure as well. Valentine's Day. A bit of a more rare one. I don't frequently watch Valentine's Day, so it's always a refreshing treat to revisit it. And I find that the color palette of this episode reflects this refreshing rumination I am reviewing and recounting. At the start, the colors are the strongest and do fade a bit into the episode, but I still think they stand out. It's rare we get to see a bikini bottom skyline that isn't midday, night, or sunset. And while I'm on it, since I haven't harped on about it enough, season 1 looks so good. The backgrounds feel aquatic, the colors effortlessly blend into one another while the contrasting flower clouds peak above a light blue view. If the episode didn't have that wonderfully pastel pink opening, I'd definitely give this pick to the Heartman. The paper. Oh man, it has been quite a long time since I've seen the paper. I adore the premise. It is pure season 1 Sponge and Squid back and forth. It's basically Idiot Box before Idiot Box, and I do not mean that as an insult, but I'd like to save my praise for Idiot Box, so instead, I'm choosing the relatively unknown trivia. This episode originally featured a plot of SpongeBob utilizing the paper to fight against Squidward's belongings and managing to come alive. Honestly, I'd love to see this in a full episode. I can imagine gags of fighting couches, comforters, and clarinets. Also, it has some absolutely sick storyboard art. Look at this! This is insane! You would think with how many episodes we've had, something like this would have existed, but as far as I can recall, nope. Arrgh. Good old Arrgh. Who doesn't love Arrgh? This is more of an anecdotal choice instead of something sensible like Weast or Krabs being sweaty. As a kid, I was terrified of the scene where Peggy and Blindbeard the pirate stumble upon Captain Krabs' map. That one shot of their eyes slotting back into place with a complete look of nothingness always unnerved me. Now I look back and enjoy the episodes plenty, especially for some of the jokes I didn't really get as a wee lad. Rock, bottom, as I've gotten, I'm not doing that, older and gotten into my 70s, I've boomeranged back onto some of the episodes I didn't go crazy for as a kid. Rock Bottom is one of them. The other one off the top of my head is actually Idiot Box from not that long ago. Rock Bottom is pure experimenting, unique fish and locations, even dialects. We get an ideal surface world full of light and life, but we fall into the dark and disturbing depths. Unfamiliar designs scare our duo away, and even their one ticket out seems to be hostile to them. After being left alone in this terrifying void, SpongeBob eventually makes a friend and manages to escape. I love the characters in this one. It's a vague pick, but definitely characters. Sponge is his usual optimistic self, but the rock bottom fish are awesome. I love the anglerfish who just comes in at the end and helps SpongeBob. No questions, no payment, just a friendly face in an unfamiliar land. And one of the best moments from season 1 and arguably the show for me, seeing Pat come back at the end to save his friend. It works as a last minute joke, but really sells you on their friendship. And also Glove World. I know it's not a character, but it's my video, I can do what I want. Do we even know the history of Glove World? I don't think I've ever heard any behind the scenes info on what inspired a glove-focused amusement park. Texas. No filler or blubber here, it's just the line.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Stupid?
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
Perfection. No other words for it, though the song comes in a close second. Walking Small. In my humble YouTuber opinion, an incredibly underrated episode. I'm gonna pick pretty much any of the jokes involving Plankton and his interactions with SpongeBob. Similar to F.U.N, his dynamic with the Bob is a comedic machine. It's back-to-back hitters. For example,
Tell him off, SpongeBob. Assert yourself.
That's my ice cream cone.
Great. Now let him have it.
You can have it. Say thanks.
No!
You used me for land development. That wasn't nice.
Fools in April. You what? I think SpongeBob's antics here are the best part. They are so dumb, yet so lovable at the same time. We have the one I just mentioned, or cut out depending on how good the voiceover was, but his prank on Squidward or this guy. Of course, it makes it all the sadder when Squidward goes a tiny bit extremely overboard with his prank. Neptune's Spatula. Okay, so if you recall back in the rock bottom entry, about 45 minutes ago give or take, I made a final note of really liking how Patrick came back for SpongeBob at the end. Take that concept and sprinkle it over an entire episode, and you've got yourself a winner. It's a classic underdog story, and whenever SpongeBob gets insulted by this failure of a king and later cook, Pat always backs SpongeBob up. No questions. Doesn't matter if it's another fish, a king, a god, whatever, Pat always has his friends back. Hooky. Another classic. I've always loved the cheese and Pat's insistence on the hooks being safe, though I think I'm gonna cheap out and just choose the concept of the episode. It's a fun and in-universe way to test SpongeBob's childlike innocence and wonder and explore how it can be used against him, though the ending always felt a little too mean to me, at least as a kid. Also, I love how partway through, the last time we see Patrick is him running off to the hooks, and nothing until the last few seconds. Rest in peace, Tuna Man, Mermaid Man, and Barnacle Boy 2. Probably the weakest out of the core 5 if you were to ask me. Still, it has plenty to offer. I think expanding on the relationship of the heroes in SpongeBob works really well. I love seeing them eventually come around, albeit after trying to ditch them. This also gives us the intro to the Dirty Bubble, another classic. It's a nice, happy episode and a well-rounded way to end off Season 1. And that was every episode from Season 1. I think the most common thing I enjoyed was the visuals. Again, Season 1 just has that fresh style that never really shows up again. It gives the beginning years of the show some delicious character, but besides that, it's pretty much what you would expect for the stuff I loved. I'm not even sure what else to say right now. Chances are most of you clicked off the moment you figured out this was the outro, so I'll call it quits there. I've been B-Tan. Thanks for watching.